Okay, guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, make sure you do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, educational, informative, anything remotely positive. Just make sure you do drop a like, it does really help out. Subscribe to the channel whilst you're at it as well, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. What's up, Matt? Good morning, hope you're well. Welcome to another stream. Also, guys, check out the Discord channel if you haven't done so already. Links in the description to that. You can join the community completely free. You can share ideas there. I share some setups there as well. So if you are interested, check it out. Links in the description to that. Guys, welcome back to another stream. It's been an interesting start to the week. It was a bank holiday yesterday, believe it or not, but the markets didn't really. Well, it's of course not a bank holiday everywhere, but the markets were pretty volatile yesterday. We did see quite a few strong moves, especially gold. Gold's just soaring like there's no tomorrow. USD's been pretty weak, although it looks like it's recovered some of that a little bit. Yen hasn't moved too much. CHF hasn't really moved too much either. Crypto, we were seeing a little bit of some moves there. Nothing crazy, but Bitcoin's been looking semi-bullish as well. So it's been an interesting start to the week. But of course, we still got quite a way to go until Friday. So hopefully some opportunities can manifest. As always, we'll start with the USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver, excuse me, gold, silver, and probably some indices as well. Of course, any requests, any particular pairs you're looking at, let me know. Drop it in the chat, and of course, we'll take a look together and see what's going on. And of course, let me know for any time frames you want me to take a look at as well. Predominantly, I'm going to focus more on the 4-hour chart. That's where I spend most of my time, but I will look at other time frames, of course. But anyway, let's start with DXY. So, as we can all see there, a lovely push to the downside yesterday. So we gapped as the week opened, and the market was pretty bearish as we continue. So I am pretty bearish on the dollar as a whole. I think there could be a lot more downside, and I mean a lot more looking at some of the higher time frames, the monthly, quarterly time frames. It does look like potentially price could be breaking through some really critical support. If I quickly just go there quickly, really critical support, which could take us down back to 88.90 region long term. But of course, yes, it probably will take a while for us to get there. So we're not too focused on that. I just understand that potentially we could be seeing a really nice downtrend forming. So I'm keeping that at the back of my mind for now. At the moment, however, the dollar is trading at some major weekly lows. We've taken up this low here as well. So I'm not so enthusiastic about shorting the dollar right now for two reasons. Taking out a major level of support. Naturally, after we tend to do that, we do tend to pull back. And two, the market has just been bleeding very heavily for quite a while now. So the market is quite stretched. Hence, I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity to short the dollar right now. I did say yesterday shorts look good, but keep it short term, preferably intraday. I did say if we were to see a pullback into this zone, I do think this would be a nice place to anticipate some downside for the USD. So let's see if we can get a nice corrective pullback into this level. Oh, that is completely wrong tool. So let's say we get a nice pullback into this level. I still think this would be a nice place to short, but I would keep that that trade intraday, in and out within the same day, maybe tops two, because I do think we'll have a bigger pullback at some stage. The market's been falling so much already. There's no need to keep pushing that to the downside. Of course, we could still keep falling. We're not to know. But just to be on the safe side, I'll be a bit more cautious with shorts because we've already had such a big move already. But yeah, in terms of the bias, it is still pretty bearish. I'm looking for a bigger pullback, preferably to some of these areas, even there, even coming back to retest this level, which acted as resistance really well. I'm looking to see if we can get bigger pullbacks into these areas before a bigger continuation, but we'll wait and see. Euro USD, same situation pretty much. Another breakout again as we started the week. So we had a breakout here a couple of weeks back, lovely push to the upside. Another breakout as well, lovely push to the upside. So I did say coming to the week it would be nice to get a retest of the high here. Of course, as we can see, that didn't happen. So now we're on to this area to see if we can get a retest of that level as well, which we're not too far away of. I also pointed out this area here yesterday too. Nice range there. Of course, that's where all the momentum came from. So keep an eye out on both the regions, 1.14, 1.145. I think both look good for buys as well for euro. But like I said, I would keep it intraday. The idea is that, okay, the market has flown to the upside. We've seen a lot of momentum. Buys still look good because that's where momentum does lie. But you want to be in and out pretty quickly. You catch the reaction, probably a nice intra move in your direction, and probably start looking to take profits off. You can, of course, leave positions to run because maybe euro still has another bullish leg left before we do turn around. So you could leave some positions on to take advantage of that. But again, I do think a top's going to form pretty soon for euro. Again, same situation as the dollar. Look to the weekly chart, look to the left. We're taking out some major highs there. The market's been very, very bullish since the start of the year, pretty much. So again, we're in need of some type of correction. You know, this is the only kind of bearish candle we've had since the breakout here initially. So I do think we'll at least see a bearish week at some point. So yeah, keeping that in mind. But yeah, Euro USD is very bullish. I still think a bigger move to the upside for this one. But again, for me to find a swing trade, I definitely need to see a bit of a breather before I can talk about some bigger buys. At the moment, I think intraday plays to the upside are quite a nice opportunity. Taking a look at pound USD, this one I'm not so much of a fan of anymore. This was on the watch list. I was looking to buy pound USD this week if we could see a pullback, but because pound USD has just basically hit the highs here, I'm being a little bit more cautious about buying pound because, of course, I'll be buying directly into major resistance at 1.34, which is not something I'm looking to do. Now, again, for pound USD, I do think the bigger move, again, is still to the upside. Looks like major support down here is held. So I think there's a good chance we do make our way back to resistance around 1.4, to be honest. So I do think this high does break and we do start to form a bit of an uptrend. Same with euro. Of course, DXY in the opposite direction. But this is not the time to be looking for any big long positions because we're bumping our heads directly into some resistance. Perhaps if we do pull back into this kind of territory, perhaps I can start looking for some buys again. Depends how we get there as well. But if anything, we're at resistance. I can see some ideas for some shorts up here. I think, again, short-term buys look good for pound USD off this area. I like it because, again, we were very stagnant and then suddenly a big push to the upside. So a lot of momentum came from that area. So, again, I do think this is a nice place for a bounce. But even if we do get into position here, I probably wouldn't even target the highs, to be honest. Just because I'll be very cautious with the trade. Again, we've had a very bullish pound USD for a number of days, number of weeks now. We've hit some major resistance. Yes, it's a nice place to buy, but again, the idea is that probably pound USD is going to end up in a bigger retracement at some point, so we're being cautious of that. I still think it's a nice place for entries, but again, probably it might only get a day's worth of bullish momentum before we do roll over. So being a bit more cautious of that, but for a bigger pullback into 1.316, 315, that might be a better place for a buy overall. So just looking for pound USD, take a bit of a breather, then hopefully find some longs. Dollar CAD as well, pretty much the same idea. I said last week I was looking for the retest of this area here for a short. However, again, we just haven't managed to get that pullback. You can see dollar CAD on the weekly chart looking very, very bearish from that candle 2 weeks ago. We're trading back below key resistance there. Of course, if we really expand, you can see dollar CAD came back into major resistance up at the highs there as well. So to me, it looks like price is cracking underneath that level. And with that in mind, we could see a lot more downside because of that. I would like to see a bigger breakout first to really confirm that we are below that level. So that's kind of what I'm looking for dollar CAD. But nonetheless, I'm still pretty bearish with this one. It looks to me that we've had a big impulse up, consolidation, big impulse down. So I do think a bearish trend can form. I'm keeping an eye on this area here where we had a consolidation and a really strong move up. I feel like that could be a draw for price and we might push towards that area eventually. But yeah, very, very bearish here for dollar CAD. I would like to see some type of pullback for this one back into that area. That will be something I'll be interested in, 1.405, and that could be a really nice swing to continue that momentum, at least back down to lows wherever they form, and potentially that weekly zone underneath us as well. But you can see how consistent we've been now with these lower highs. One over there, second, third, kind of fourth joint with that high there as well. Another one there too. So that again, the plan is to look for the next lower high, and again continue momentum lower. So still very bearish on dollar CAD. Aussie dollar very bullish on this one. Looks like we are starting to top out though. You can see a very nice bullish candle pushing up this morning. However, we came straight back down again. So it looks like we're starting to fail at highs a little bit, which is something I want to see because I've been looking to buy Aussie dollar for a while, but it's just been chugging to the upside. So difficult to find a meaningful buy. But perhaps now, after we've taken out the highs there, perhaps Aussie dollar says, okay, finally, I'll have a bit of a breather, a bit of a pullback. But then again, I'm looking to take that straight to the upside. So again, with Aussie dollar coming into the week, I did say, kind of this area would be my number one choice for a pullback, but I'm not too sure if we are going to see a pullback all the way down there for a long. I'm also looking at this level here. It's not as a significant level, but it has proven to be resistance in the past. So I wonder if it can act again. Again, in terms of how price gets there and how we react, that will make my decision for me. But yeah, extremely bullish here for Aussie dollar as well, waiting for a pullback into the zone and then hopefully find some longs to take this to new highs, because I do think the market again is forming a bit of a bottom on the weekly chart. This to me looks like price has really tried to go lower but essentially failed, so I'm looking at this as a low for us to see a lot more upside in the future. So very bullish for Aussie dollar and very bullish for New Zealand dollar as well. This one again showing similar signs of a bottom here. Very strong reaction a couple of weeks back. We're still seeing price push to the upside. Again, I like the buy opportunities here for New Zealand dollar, but it's just been way too bullish for me to actually find a trade for this one. So again, as I dropped the 4-hour chart, I said coming into the week it would be nice for a pullback into the zone, and then for a long, I don't know if we'll get a pullback that big. I think we need one because we've just been flying. So I think pullback to that level is not actually anything too crazy. If I get the fib out, it's not even halfway. So I think it is definitely possible, but it's just a big if we get there. There might be some shorter term opportunities on the retest of the high, but again, I wouldn't look to hold those trades for too long because the market's already stretched. So the idea is that, okay, we're pretty stretched, but I still think we can get a bounce here. But I'm not going to try and test my luck too much because I understand that a retracement is definitely on its way. And of course, you've got your lovely gold, which is just, it doesn't know what a reversal is. I think we smashed into 3,500 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I might have just hit it to the pip, to be honest. Let me just type it in. Yeah, it's literally tested to the pip almost. Wow, that is incredible accuracy from gold. Anyway, yeah, gold is very bullish. Where were we trading yesterday? I think we were trading around here. I think so, on stream yesterday. So yeah, I said it would be nice if gold can come back and retest the high, but nope, gold just flew some more, and yeah, it's almost ridiculous at this point, to be honest. I mean, are we going to hit 4K by the end of the year? It's not looking too far away anymore. It's not looking too far away. But yeah, this one's in desperate need of a pullback. So I do think, although gold is looking very, very bullish right now and it's spectacular, but it does desperately need a pullback. If it was to see another big push to the upside, well, I think that means we'll probably see a pretty hard drop, to be honest. because it's just been flying since the low here. So I do think we're going to see a retracement. It's going to be probably a pretty violent one as well. I feel like probably something like we had over here. I don't know if it will be as big, but I'm expecting a lot of momentum, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very overall bullish gold, but it does need a correction. And pullbacks to some of these areas would be nice. Those would be areas I would consider buying from. But yeah, gold is just bullish, but needs some retracement. And silver struggling to push the upside. So again, silver and gold very correlated, tend to do the same thing, but obviously silver is lagging behind gold big time right now. And of course, the price action represents that very well. We've got structure just above us. Gold is kind of just running away with things, but silver finding it really hard to break through structure here, which is why I've been refraining from buying silver, even though I expect silver to eventually break highs as well and catch up with gold a little bit in terms of the momentum. Because of where we're trading, I can't be looking to buy silver just yet. Still respecting structure there. Perhaps if we were to break through this, maybe the next pullback after might interest me. But yeah, at the moment, we're still respecting resistance. We could sell off for all I know, so not really interested in that. But if we were to get a strong breakout, then yeah, a retest would interest me. And perhaps we might take advantage of some buys there. But silver's still a long way away from a good buy setup, at least from a swing opportunity anyway. But yeah, that kind of sums up where I'm at with USD and everything. It's been a very interesting start to the week. What's up, Yusuf? Good morning. Hope you're well. Julius, greetings, my man. Hope you're well. Pound USD in the 15. Sure, I would definitely take a look, no problem. Made a double top and bottom, but I'm having more confidence in longs. Okay, I'll have a look see for you. Good morning, Dark Sean. Missed yesterday's beautiful drop on NAS. Unfortunately, I took a long weekend off. I was away when it happened. It happens, my man. It happens. Stay back to business as usual. Looking for some good setups in the 5-minute time frame. Nice. Yeah, not going to catch every trade. Which of course, especially if if it fit the plan well, nice entry. It's a little bit disheartening to see those play out because you're like, okay, if I was there, I would have snapped that up nicely. But yeah, especially in the 5-minute chart, there's always a setup on the horizon, and I'm sure you know that as well. But yeah, I'll take a look at NAS because yeah, NAS was looking pretty bearish. I had a look at the indices before hopping into the stream, and indices were down. And I think the indices are probably just gonna. Oh, I keep hitting the mic these days. What's going on? I think the indices are probably just gonna make their way back to the weekly lows again. We had that big move a couple weeks back on the indices, but it hasn't really showed any signs of continuation. So I think we're just gonna slowly roll over. Anyway, let me take a look at pound USD first, then I'll take a look at the NAS. Rodney, what is up? Representing Kenya, big up to yourself. Definitely to visit Kenya one day. Alfonso, silver used commercially, so if there is potential recession, demand reduces whilst gold increases. That's true. That's true. Of course, that's from a fundamental perspective why silver is probably not as bullish as gold. That is a good point. Okay, let's go through pound USD. So pound USD, you're looking at buys, Yusuf? Am I correct? Yeah, having more confidence with longs. But it's made a double top. It made a double top and bottom. Okay. I see where you're on about here. So you're talking about the double top over here, but of course the double bottom over here as well. If I'm referencing wrong, let me know. But yeah, that is true. We did form a bit of a double bottom. We pushed back to highs, respect the highs, and now we're back down again. So overall, I would now consider this to be a range here for pound because we haven't made our continuation of the trend. We've respected the highs. And again, based on where we're trading, kind of makes sense because look to the left, major daily, weekly highs, and yeah, we're having trouble to break through them. So I like the buys for pound USD as well. I do think pound USD is still overall bullish. I do think we can still see higher prices. However, I would be very careful because of where we're trading. I think, yes, you're right to be bullish because of momentum, because of the trend. Trend's your friend. But also be aware where we're situated, how far into the trend we are. Those questions can really help you choose your entries and choose your setups well. If the market's been trending for a while, particularly an FX pair, of course, and indices is a bit different, but for an FX pair, if we've been trending for a while and now we're hitting some big levels, now you're probably going to start to be a bit more cautious looking to follow that trend. And if you are, you're probably just going to take small pieces of the cake, small pieces of the pie, rather than looking for any big continuation move. Because number one, the market's already had a big move. It's probably tiring. And number two, we're hitting some big levels where potentially the market might turn around. So that's kind of the situation we're in here for pound USD. We've seen already a big move for pound. We're hitting some big levels now. I'm not necessarily saying we have to turn around now. We could still see another up move first, then turn around. But you're being a bit more cautious with the buys. And I wouldn't want to be buying directly into this area, especially when we're quite stretched as well. If we were to pull back into this zone, just below us at 1.329, I think that would be a slightly healthier place to buy pound USD from. Again, as I mentioned, the market is still quite overbought, still hitting a big level, so I wouldn't be looking trying to hold the buy for too long, but I think this would be a nice place for a reaction, maybe for a day, and that could be a really nice opportunity for a good intraday trade for pound USD. But yeah, from a 50-minute time frame, I would avoid looking for opportunities in here. If I was to look for an opportunity, I'll keep it short and sweet, maybe catch a nice buy there. Let me measure 50% of the range here. So you got 50% of the range. I would consider that as a target, to be honest. Not even the highs, because the fact that we are double topping does scare me a little bit, especially because of where we're trading. So I think this is still a nice place for a buy. You can see solid support to our left. If you see price get there, maybe we find some nice wicks, nice bullish engulfing candle. That could be a nice buy, but I'm not expecting that trade to go too far. Yeah, just because of where we're situated. It might do, and you can leave positions to run, but I'll take the bulk of my profit off just to be a bit more cautious. But yeah, if we were to come lower, then I think we'll have a little bit more draw in it and a bigger bounce. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound USD. What's up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. Okay, cool. LFTJ still on my BTC from 83,319. Okay, I'm contemplating whether to exit at resistance or wait for a breakout of resistance. Okay, good question. Ahmed, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Only Kenyan here. No, we've had a few Kenyans. Definitely not the only one. Okay, I'll take a look at BTC first. I'll go through NAS and then I'll take a look at BTC. I'm actually waiting for a break on the double top and the retest before entry. Okay, that's a good way of looking at it as well. If you're waiting for the break of the double top and then retest on top, I think that's a nice idea too. Again, it's still the same situation of price is quite stretched. We'll probably do a bigger pullback at some point. If we were to see a healthy break of the high there, I think that could provide a nice opportunity depending on the breakout, depending on the pullback as well. If it looks nice, if we had a lot of momentum with the break and a nice slow corrective pullback, that could provide a nice opportunity. But again, not being too greedy. If it does get back to highs, I'll be calling it a day there, to be honest, given the circumstance of pound USD's price action right now. But yeah, a break of the highs is completely fine for an opportunity as well. A break of the highs and a retest makes a lot of sense too. Okay, so NAS 100. So yeah, looking pretty bearish with NAS. We have cracked through the support. I was talking about this level yesterday. I said I didn't really have too much confidence that we're going to hold this level just because we have been very consistent with all these lower highs now. Going back, you can go back further, but if you look at the high there, another lower high, then continuously there as well. So the market has been steadily dropping to the downside. We had that big push last week, Wednesday, but it hasn't really amounted to anything. When it happened, I was like, okay, is this going to be a low for the market now? Are we going to start pushing? But we failed to see any continuation of that. And that's the big sign to me that says, okay, Nas has probably got a greater chance now just to roll back to lows now rather than suddenly push to the upside. Of course, the right headline in the news can definitely bring price up at any point. But in terms of the price action, because of how fatigued we're looking, I do think we're likely to roll over and continue lower. So I'm pretty bearish on the Nas here. I will be looking at opportunities to try and short this one. Let me drop to the 5 minutes. So yeah, we are coming back into that zone. I do like where we're trading though. We've got, of course, that prior low there lurking around. We've got the high there as well. I mean, I actually don't mind the buys as well in the 5 minute too. If we were to push down maybe into this kind of area, I think that's still a decent place for a buy, to be honest, from a 5 minute perspective. And I'll probably consider also looking for shorts at the high here too. See what we do. If things look good in terms of rejection, I think naturally that would be a nice place to short. So I would be keeping an eye on both of these areas, to be honest, because I think they both could provide some nice opportunities. But yeah, in terms of the bigger move, like the 4 hour hourly chart, I do think we're going to sell off, take out these lows and continue. But from a 5 minute perspective, based on the bullish structure we've had here, I think that's also a nice place for a buy. And that's also a nice place for a sell as well. From a 5 minute chart, I probably wouldn't be looking for the big swing, just because a lot can happen. But I think that's also a nice place to short the market too. But yeah, at the moment we've got some nice bullish structure, so I wouldn't mind following that for a while, especially in the 5 minute chart. You're not looking to hold it for a long time. But yeah, since we are trading in this zone here, I do think we will see some sellers kick in and see a nice push down at some point. This is still my longer term bias for Nas and targets back at the swing low. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Nas. We'll take a look at BTC next. No problem, happy to help. Yusuf, Rodney, Dollar CAD, 5 minute as well. Okay, we'll have a look, see. So BTC. So you still got your position from 83,319. Okay, so that's somewhere. Okay, I'm not getting it on the. Okay, somewhere around there. So yeah, looking really good. Looking really good. So your question was, you're contemplating whether to exit at resistance or wait for the breakout of resistance. Isn't that the question? Is price going to break the level, or is it going to turn around and take away my profits? I mean, it's difficult to tell until it happens, of course. We can look for signs of potentially price turning around, wicks, rejection, momentum shifting, momentum slowing down. We can look for signs of that happening. But again, it could mean that price just has a slight dip before it later goes and breaks through the level. Just because price is rejecting a level doesn't mean it's going to have a sell like this. It might be a sell for a couple candles on the 4 hour chart, and then we later go and break through as well. So we don't know that as well. My advice would be, whatever your target was originally for the trade, I would hold out for that. Of course, if you see some flat out red flags that maybe price isn't going to go in your favor anymore, then of course maybe you can take some positions off the table or close the trade completely or move stops to break even, however you want to manage it. At that point, yeah, it would make sense to. But if you had a target higher up and risk reward is something you like to focus on with your trades, and I'll just let price do its thing. because especially when you're in a trade, price can definitely play tricks on you. Because when you're in a trade, you're just a little bit more emotional because you got money on the line. You're seeing your profit flow up and down. So every kind of rejection feels a little bit heavier. Every big wick you see feels a little bit bigger. And that can make you hit the panic button, just close the trade unnecessarily. So typically I try to hold through just because I know I'm a bit more emotional when I'm in a trade. So I try to hold through the noise. Of course, if I'm getting some glaring evidence that, okay, price is probably not going to push my direction anymore, then yeah, I would act, whether just maybe closing half or moving stop to break even. So that would make sense. But at the moment, judging the low time frames, even the hourly chart, we are slowing down, and we already had a bit of a reaction, but price shot back up again. So yeah, I would just hold to my target, whatever that is. If your target was the level, then of course I would just close the trade because, you know, we've hit the target we anticipated. Can only leave a little bit to run. Yeah, we're not to know if price is going to completely reverse from that level or just reject slightly, then break through. I would just hold to my original target. Okay, so let me go take a look at dollar CAD on the 5 minute. So USD CAD 5 minute chart. It's been a while since I've looked at the 5 minute for USD CAD. Okay, where are we? So dollar CAD, I'm still very bearish on this one as a whole, but I need to see a much bigger pullback. I'm talking about the 4 hour chart. I need to see a much bigger pullback before I considering shorting this one. But from a 5 minute perspective, things are still looking pretty bearish. We are a little bit more corrective now, so it does look like price is probably going to turn at some point. We do have some structure above us, which just kind of gave us a lovely little range there, but we had a pretty meaningful drop to the downside. Now it looks like we're coming back into that same type of area. So I probably would keep an eye out for some shorts here. But again, I wouldn't be so optimistic to try and swing that all the way down there. I feel like even just a trade back to a recent high here could be a decent position. I know the risk reward might not be crazy, but again, you have to trade the market, not exactly what you want to do. You know, you might have an average risk reward of like a 1 to 5, but if the market's not quite set up for a 1 to 5, well then there's no point trying to aim for it on that particular position. For dollar CAD, yes, we could see a big swing, but I would be a lot more cautious now. The fact that we had this big move and it did form a higher low compared to that point is not the best sign. But as we do pull back into this kind of area of supply, I think naturally that's a nice place for a sell. I'd wait for some strong rejection to come in, and that could be a nice initial target, and maybe you're back at this area as a secondary target as well. But yeah, dollar CAD in bearish territory, I would be looking to sell that one. But again, not looking for such a big move because I do think sooner or later dollar CAD is going to have a big push up because we are due some retracement. Again, looking at the 4 hour chart, things look very, very corrective. We did get a nice break and retest of this level here, but it just hasn't given us a big enough reaction to continue price. We pull back into the zone. Yeah, hasn't really given us much to work with. And that's just because I think dollar CAD is just a little bit overextended to the downside. So on the 4 hour chart, the plan is still the same, looking for a pullback somewhere around here. Then looking, oh, didn't mean to do that. Then looking for continuation into new lows. But yeah, from a dollar CAD perspective on the 5 minute chart, I think shorts still look good, but I'll keep it short and sweet because yeah, the fact that we had a lot of selling pressure and still formed a high low isn't the best of signs, and the fact that we are quite corrective as well. But anyway, I'm still keeping a close eye on some of the yen pairs. I was looking a lot at pound CAD this morning for a short, but it didn't quite present. I was looking for a short as price got back to this high here, looking for a nice double top. Price come back to a nice area of confluence. I do think pound CAD is in desperate need for a correction as well, a much bigger one too. And I was looking to see if I can short at the high here, but I didn't see a big enough rejection. I was keeping a close eye on that last 4-hour candle, because at one point it was closing as a nice bearish engulfing, but it did pull back. It actually closed as a doji, so that kept me out of the trade. But I'm looking to see what we can do at this high, because I'm looking to see if at least I can catch a reaction, back down into this kind of area. Of course, if everything goes to plan, hopefully a swing back down here. But this is probably the first area I'll probably monitor, see what happens. If price starts to show some signs of rejection, I'll probably get out. And the reason why I'm being very cautious with this trade is because I'm still very much going against the flow of the market. The market has been bullish for a while. It's in a clear uptrend. So when I am going counter trend, I am being a lot more cautious and having a lot more targets for my positions as well. Because if momentum is going to continue with the overall trend, I want to be sure that I'm out of that position as soon as possible. So yeah, I like the shorts here for pound CAD. Nice location, pulling back into an area where we could form another lower high. One over there, second over there, looking for a third. It's a pretty healthy pullback. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, you can see we're pulling back into the 0.786. So it's a really nice area of confidence for us to at least get a bit of a dip there for price, even if we are going to continue higher. I do feel like we can at least get something like this. So that is enough for me to at least probably get to break even or maybe secure a partial. If things look good and momentum kicks in, whoop-de-doo, hopefully I can hold it back to the lows there. And that would be a nice trade there. But we'll see how this does develop. I need that shift of momentum in the 4-hour chart for an entry. And we're still a long way away from that. I'll see how this next 4-hour candle does close. Still got about 3 hours and 17 minutes before it does happen. So we'll keep a close eye on it. But pound CAD is a market that I'm looking to see if I can jump in. Also, another one is CHF JPY longs. I've been pretty bearish on the yen pairs, but Swiss yen is actually the only yen pair which I actually like the buys of right now. Because again, we've got this lovely consolidation to our left. Price broke to the upside. And we have a pretty relatively corrective pullback here. Nice push down, push up, nice push down, push up, nice push down, nice push up, nice push down as well. So the market's been very stagnant on its way down here, and I like the way it is doing that, especially compared to the momentum we had in this leg. Not so much here, but especially here as well. So if we can keep that up, see a nice shift in momentum, that will be a nice entry signal for me. And I think we can push back to highs there for Swiss yen. Now, long term, I'm actually still very bearish with this one. I do think there's a massive move to the downside to be had. But because we didn't really form that lower high, and now we're kind of forming bullish characteristics here, I'm not as confident with the sell. And I actually do like the buys back into resistance a lot more now. It might be a situation where we push into resistance, maybe double top it and then reverse. I don't know. But for the time being, I do like the buys in this zone here, around 172. So, yeah, pretty bullish here for pound USD. Going to keep a close eye in this area here for a long. If things go well, then hopefully we can see a push back into resistance at 176. Pound CAD is my watch list. Also nice. Want those highs taken out 1.865. Where is that? 1.865. Okay, so you're looking for these highs to take out first before you sell. Yeah, that's probably a good bet as well, to be honest, because at least at that point the market's a bit more stretched. There's probably some stops above there as well, which if we could liquidate, that might help for a move lower. But I like the area we're trading at now, so I'm going to see what we can get. At the moment, it's still mainly doji, so of course there is no opportunity for me right now. But if we can start to reject this well, start to see a strong shift of momentum, I don't mind hopping at this price. And again, being a bit more pessimistic with this trade. Normally, if it's like pro trend and things are really in my favor, I probably would just target this level outright. I might have like a partial target before. But if the odds are stacked with me, then I'll just kind of let my trades play out and go for that risk to reward. But in this case, I would be a lot more cautious. But yeah, we'll see what price does at that area. Okay, but we'll react if it doesn't. Yeah, well, that's trading for you. trading for you. You can have like a plan, but sometimes the market will shape a little bit differently to the plan. You got to react to that, and of course within reason. You don't just be reacting to anything and taking anything. But yeah, there's many times where I'm looking for price to get to this area, doesn't quite do that, does something else, well then it gives me another good trade, so I take that instead. Yeah, and that's a big part of trading, because a lot of people confuse trading with predicting. It's we're not predicting anything really. We're just, we're reacting to what the market's giving us and taking positions based on patterns. Afonso, I have the first proper trade of ages, Aussie yen sell. Okay, nice. 90.073. Okay, let's have a look, see. I was about to go through the yen pairs, but I guess we'll start with Aussie yen. Okay, so you've got a entry for a sell on Aussie yen. 90.073, which is around there. Stop loss 96.75. Okay, so it looks like, let me drop to the hourly chart, be a bit more precise. So your stop loss is above the high here, I'm guessing, 675. And targets 88.960. That's around here. Okay. Looking good so far, and a bit of profit there. So yeah, I was actually keeping an eye on Aussie yen. I did want price to push up a little bit higher before I do consider a short, but it does look like price is failing, to be honest. This was the area I was keeping an eye on, 92, for some shorts. But yeah, it does look like the market's slowly rolling over. I'm guessing kind of the basis of your trade is that the market is successfully breaking out of this kind of weird price action here, and you're looking for us to go and hit the next level. And at the moment, if momentum can keep going, I like it. I think the stop loss is in a healthy place. You could have a stop loss above here, but that would really skew up the risk to reward. And it probably doesn't need to be above there anyway, because if it is going to take out this high there, then that probably means we're going to push back to resistance, and that probably means we're going to push higher than that resistance as well. We probably will go and take out the wick there for some liquidity there. So I think the stop loss is a nice place. Targets relatively nice place as well. Just looking for the next level, more or less. An entry. I suppose you're looking to enter on the breakout, expecting price to continue in that favor. So yeah, I do like the trade. I'm still pretty bearish with the yen pairs as well. Like I said, I would have preferred it to be at that 92 region, because we got a little bit more going for us up at that level. But it does look like we're rolling over, and you're not looking for anything too crazy for a push back to these lows here, because Aussie yen has hit a pretty big level to our left, so I wouldn't be so optimistic about holding an Aussie yen position to the downside for too long, because I don't know, maybe you do reverse from this area, so I would be a little bit more cautious with shorts. But yeah, I like the target. Probably looking at maybe a 1 to 1.5 or something like that in terms of the risk reward. So yeah, well positioned. So yeah, I like the trade. I think a key thing to note is just how the next maybe couple 4-hour candles close, because a big part of the trade, I'm guessing, is the successful break of that support level. So let's say if this candle does pull back and maybe leaves a wick and closes bullish above that level, well, that could probably be a big red flag and potentially look to close the trade a little bit early. You don't necessarily need to leave it to run to hit the stop loss if you're going to get a big red flag with how the market is moving. Because if the idea of the trade is that, okay, momentum's with the bears now, we're breaking support, I'm expecting momentum to keep going, I'm expecting us to go and hit the next level, that's a great idea. But if you see red flags for that idea, like price not breaking support, rejecting it heavily, closing strongly bullish above it, well, then the fundamental, foundation of that idea is no longer valid anymore, because we're not breaking support. Momentum's not with the bears anymore. So that could be a good idea to get out of the trade early and protect some of your downside. But so far looking good. But I'll just keep an eye on that 4-hour hourly candle there, just to see if they can continue lower. But so far looking good. Sultan, what's up? Doing good. That's great to hear. Hope you're well. Matt, pound yen from 192. I like. Okay, it looks to me plenty of room to the downside. Yeah, I still do like the end pairs to the downside. Pound yen looks good. I like euro yen a little bit more because I feel like that just hasn't moved yet, but it's just very sideways. So I'm kind of just sitting on the sidelines waiting for some clarity in the price action. But yeah, I do think pound yen has a lot of downside too. I definitely agree with that one as well. If I quickly expand to the daily chart, I'm still looking for a push back into 180 more or less, which is the wick low here. I feel like that is a reasonable place where we can get to based on the highs price is making. Lower high. I was hoping to see price can push up and form another lower high, but perhaps we might just kind of roll over here and continue lower without that bigger pullback. So yeah, things are looking pretty bearish here for pound yen. I think it's got a lot of room to the downside as well. There is support to our left here, so watching out for that. But I did say yesterday, because we are so fatigued on our way to the upside, very corrective move. To me, it just looks like price is just having a lousy attempt to retrace, and it's probably just going to roll over at this point now. So I think shorts look good as well. I think in terms of a trade, I would wait for a push back into resistance, just because of how I like to find my entries. I like to be at resistance, so I can put my stop loss above that. The only question is, will pound yen push back to resistance, or has it had its fun and is it ready to go now? That would be the question. I mean, we've got some support we're coming to right now. I feel like if we break through this level, I feel like that's a game, set, match. I feel like pound yen's probably going to push back to the lows at that point. If we can find support here, perhaps the opportunity does come from a short at the high. Yeah, but if it does break through, I feel like pound yen might just go. So there could be some nice shorts in the breakout. Not really my type of trade. We kind of broken this counter trend line here a while ago. But yeah, it looks like pound yen is getting ready for a sell. Still got some support to contend with, but I think there's a lot of room for us to move into. So I definitely do agree with you on that one, Matt. Pound yen from 192. Okay, so you're looking for price to push to 192. Yeah, so that's the same boat as me. I would love price to push to 192. I would love price to push there and then short it, because essentially we'll be trying to catch the next lower high. If I scoot to the daily chart quickly, so we got one there, second there, third, fourth, roughly in that kind of area. Then the sell, yeah, that would be a beautiful stuff from pound yen. I just don't know if we've got that energy in us. The fact that we're spending so much time here starts to worry me. I feel like we might just drop from current price. But yeah, that would be ideally where I want price to head to first. Find some shorts, and that could open up a massive swing, 1,000 pip plus from pound yen. What was that? Antonio, what's up, my man? The yen basket is retracing back to supply, weekly supply. That is bullish for yen pairs, correct? That is bullish for the yen pairs. Let me have a look at the yen basket. I haven't actually looked at this today. Okay, so we're slowly pushing higher, so that's probably why we've got pound yen slowly falling, Aussie yen slowly falling as well. Let me look at this one on the higher time frames. Okay, so the daily's trying to push through. Yeah, I mean, for the yen basket, excuse me, I'm still looking for us to go and take out the wick high here at 73.58. So my bias is still very much to the upside for the yen basket. Past 2-3 weeks, we've been stalling a little bit at this area as price approaches resistance. But I do think that high there is still our target where we're likely to take out. We had a very impulsive move. This to me looks like the pullback of that move. Now I'm expecting the continuation. So I am pretty bullish here for the end basket. It looks like we're slowly picking up momentum here. It still looks very corrective, so it's not the best piece of price action you'll see. How corrective we're moving, but support looks like it's still holding pretty well. You know, I would guess as long as that remains, prices like to push through. We've got some resistance on our left here, which we're battling with at the moment. We could actually see a sell from that. But if we do come back into support, I mean, that could be where the buyers kick back in again, and we might see price continue there. But yeah, at the moment, momentum is picking up. So you do have a bullish yen, which is giving us some downside in quite a few of the yen pairs. But in terms of the direction, I am looking at this uptrend continuing, and targets the high of that wick is still very much the plan. So yeah, more upside for the yen basket is what I'm expecting. Prince AI, take a look at Euro Yen. So yeah, Euro Yen, this is the one I like a short opportunity of. It's just the price action is absolutely atrocious. You know, look at that for price action there. That is a range of just an awful range. So it's difficult to find entries, which is what I'm struggling with Euro Yen. In terms of direction and what I'm looking to do, that's already set in stone. Unless we were to see suddenly a break of structure, like price was to take out this high here suddenly, then that's when I'll go back to the drawing board. But for now, I can see prices so consistent with these highs here. One over there, second over there, I'm anticipating a third. So that means I'm expecting price to roll back over, reach support again. And if we zoom out, we've got a massive head and shoulder pattern here. You've got the left shoulder there, you've got the head over there, right shoulder. Of course, that's your neckline. I'm expecting price to go and smash through that and continue lower. So extremely bearish here for Euro Yen. It's just the entry, which is always the hardest part, but especially when you've got price action like this, it's been tricky to find a trade. So my thinking with Euro Yen to find an entry with this one, well, I've got two ideas. Either we push back into resistance, into daily resistance here, so basically the top of the range. This allows me to find an entry right at the top, so I can get a stop loss above the level where it would be in a relatively safe place. Because if price was going to wick me out, it's going to have to work really hard to do that. And two, if I do get wicked out and price still obeys the level, when I can jump back in, and again in a nice area. And of course, I'm right at the top as well. So if price does break for resistance and takes at the high as well, well, then I was in the wrong direction anyway. So I'm in a nice place for that. The second opportunity I'm looking at is if we start to pick up a bit of a bearish trend. So if the market starts to push down, starts to give me some pullbacks, well, then maybe some shorts might develop. But I need to see some strength in this bearish leg. I need to see real conviction. If it's kind of corrective like we had in the way down here, well, we're back to square one. I would expect price to respect support and probably give us another push back up again. But if we have a meaningful down move, a lot of momentum, then something like that, I might jump in. Maybe it's a pullback a little bit later on. But that is something I'll be interested in for Euro Yen. Because I don't have to short the actual top of the high to capitalize on the trend or the trade. I don't have to be right at the top. I can be a little bit lower down. Of course, preferably I like to be at the top because it means I can hold into that position with a bit more confidence. If I get to position here, well, as soon as price hits support, I have to be a bit worried now because price might bounce and it might push back and take me out my position, even if the market's still likely to head lower. So I have to be a bit more cautious. If I'm up here and my entry's up there, and then if price does get here, well, I'm not too worried because I've got a lot of space to work with. If price does have a big pullback, which I wasn't expecting, but then eventually does roll over, well, if my entry's up here, it's not to worry. The odds of price coming back to my entry are a lot lower, and if it does, well, it's reversed anyway. Whereas here, it could take me out the trade and still continue. just because I'm positioned a lot lower down. So that's the bad thing about entering a little bit later, is that you won't be able to take advantage of the bigger swing, because sometimes you might get wigged out. But then again, that's the same with every position. But yeah, something like that is what I'll be after with Euro Yen. If I don't get the entry right at the high, then that'll be the next best opportunity. So keeping an eye on that with Euro Yen. But yeah, very bearish here, Euro Yen. Still expecting more strength of the yen itself, the currency. So I feel like there is a lot of downside to be taken advantage of. But funny enough, I do like Swiss yen buys as well. And I think that comes from Swiss being strong too. I'm not expecting Swiss yen buys to last forever. It's still a bit more of a short-term trade. That's the way I see it. But I do think there could be a really nice buy here. So I'll hold out for that, see what happens, see what type of price action we get there as well. If, of course, we just dropping through and not really see much rejection, well, then I'll stay away. But if it does look like it will bounce, well, we'll see what we can do. In terms of some of the other yen pairs, of course, you've got your lovely dollar yen, which has been very bearish again. You've got a sort of strong yen, but you've got more so a very weak USD. So that's just been what's allowed the dollar yen to fall heavily, as we can see. Excuse me. And we're trading in some big levels of support right now. So the question lies, is dollar yen going to break through this level, or is it going to respect it? At the moment, too early to say. We've just come into the level. We're slowing down. We're seeing some signs of price slowing down, but we're not going to understand if price is going to absolutely reverse from this area or break through just yet. Need some more information to indicate that. But I think one takeaway is that we haven't broken through the support level yet. So that's maybe hinting that we are going to bounce. But again, still need a lot more information there first. But yeah, for dollar yen, this has been the target for it. So now that we've smashed into 140, I'm kind of just backing off and letting price do its thing. If it does break through, okay, I'll see what price does, how we break through, and take that into consideration. I do think we need a retracement though for dollar yen. I do think we need a retracement for this one. How big the retracement is, that'll be the question, because it could be a couple weeks, it could be a few weeks before we do drop as well. I do think we'll eventually break through 140, but like I said, we might bounce for a while, and that could be a nice long opportunity to consider. But yeah, at the moment, testing strong support. I wouldn't do anything just yet. There could be some nice buys. Of course, I wouldn't be looking to short anytime soon. Market's quite stretched. Number one, hitting a big level. Number two, so the shorts are done. If anything, there could be some nice buys to look out for. So I'll keep a close eye on that. In terms of CAD yen, this one as well, I'm not the biggest fan. I think we're still trading at support, are we? I mean, looks like we might be breaking through, but we're still at support anyway. So again, not the best time to be looking to short. So again, CAD yen, overall bearish bias of this one too, but as we're still trading support, we respect this area on numerous occasions as well. I cannot be looking to sell CAD yen at this price right now. Perhaps if we have a solid breakthrough, then yes, there might be some nice shorts on a retest, on a pullback. That's something I would consider. But again, not at current price. And still, again, there could be some nice buying opportunities. I'd wait for a much stronger sign of rejection first before jumping in. But this could still present a nice buy. We've seen that on a couple of occasions. One over there, second, and if you count the initial test as well. So this is definitely bullish territory, and I would avoid selling CAD yen. But yeah, just briefly looking across the board, it does look like all yen pairs are having a bit of a move down right now. I think, yeah, I mean, New Zealand yen's probably lagging behind a little bit, but this market is looking pretty tired as well. So yeah, I mean, we had a look at the yen basket. Yen looks strong as well. I do think yen's likely to continue. So it depends on the currency the yen is partnered with, whether we'll really see that move happen. I think for NZD, I mean, it's a pretty bearish currency for the past few weeks. I do think it will gain some strength. Well, it has gained some strength. I think it will continue to gain some strength, but will it be stronger than the yen? We'll have to wait and see. But then again, for New Zealand yen as well, we've hit a big level here to the left. So again, that's why I'm not so bearish on this one anymore, because we've hit a big level. So I would be more cautious selling with this one. We are trading in a nice area, but again, I wouldn't be looking for a full swing back into support. I feel like that's just a little bit too aggressive for New Zealand yen right now. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. I do like them. I do like some buys with the Swiss yen. I do like some sells with euro yen. But I need a lot more to happen before I do get this short. For the buy in the Swiss yen, just need a slight push to the downside, and then I'll start eyeing up some opportunities to enter. Dark Sean found the short entry on NAS 18002 after rejecting 18012. Okay, we'll have a look see. Targeting 7900, start to pick up the pace slowly, but still in consolidation at the moment. Okay. Let's have a look see. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But I do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. But Darkshine, you said you entered a short. Let us see. So let me move this out the way. Come on now, there we go. So you said you enter a short 18002. Okay, so somewhere just above here. Targets 17900. Okay, so basically that area. And I assume your stop loss is probably just above the candlesticks here, so like 1813, something like that. Start to pick up the pace slowly, but still in consolidation at the moment. Yeah, correct. The market is still a little bit sideways. But yeah, I mean, I do like the idea, to be honest. I do like the idea. Of course, I think that would be a nice place to buy from. So I think in terms of the target, I think the target makes a lot of sense because you still got to show respect to that uptrend there, just in case we do continue. Well, where's the uptrend likely to continue from? Well, probably this area here around. That's probably where you start to see some buyers step into the market. So I think the target makes a lot of sense. In terms of the entry, I like it as well. I would wait to see a push back to high just because I like having stop loss right at the top of things. So I would wait for that to happen, but that could be personal preference. And the funny thing is, you probably won't see the move as well too. So that's definitely something to consider. But it does look like price is stalling here, potentially forming a lower high. If we can keep that up, then yeah, I do think a pushback down into 17,900 looks very likely, to be honest. We are rejecting a really big zone here on the 4-hour chart, more specifically on the 5-minute. This low here too, taking that across. Price is having fun at rejecting that. So yeah, I think we are in a nice area for a short. We've come back into a nice area of supply in higher time frames, and price is doing a good job at respecting it. So I do like the idea. I think targets are pretty reasonable as well. Not looking for anything too crazy. I mean, we could go further, but I would at least have initial targets at 17.9 just to be on the safe side of things. So yeah, I do like that idea there, Dark Sean. And if we do push up one more time as well, I think the shorts still look good as well. So I would keep an eye out for that if that was to happen. But you can see on the 4-hour chart, really nice bearish structure. We pull back into the zone. So as long as we can respect that, well, I do think we can sell off. Okay, 6 to 1. Okay, that's a great risk reward. So yeah, you don't even need to try and take it any further, to be honest. 1 to 6 is healthy enough if it's back to the low there. So yeah, I think pretty. Again, not looking for anything crazy in terms of the targets. 1 to 6 is a big risk reward, but it's not big for the context of the trade. Some people kind of get that the wrong way around. People say, go for big risk rewards. It's good for the overall growth of your account. That means if you do go through a bit of a bad period with your trading, well, if you have a big risk reward, it means you can make back a bunch of losses quickly, which is all true and it's all great. But if you're taking trades where 1 to 6 doesn't really make sense, or 1 to whatever doesn't make sense, then you're gonna find it really difficult to go and hit those bigger risk rewards. Having a good risk reward, not necessarily just taking the trade and hoping for the best that it gets there. Actually, it makes sense that the market does get there. And yeah, I feel like a push into 7,900 does make sense. So hopefully we can see that happen. Look at the other indices as well. Before I continue, what's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. Is it the standard dollar CAD USDZAR USD JPY situation with yourself? So yeah, S&P looking pretty bearish too. Yep, just about pulling back into this zone here as well. You've got price support there, just flipped as resistance. Again, if I zoom out, what's the S&P doing? Wait. Okay, I thought I was still looking at NAS. The S&P is still very consistent with the low highs as well. I can go back further with them, but just showing you the recent highs the market's been making. Very, very consistent. So again, expecting another one to form in and around that area. Dropping to the hourly chart. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do push up one more time, but a move to the downside would be the plan. Again, I can see if I drop to the lower time frames, similar to NAS, again, that would be an interesting area for a buy. I think that is a nice level for a buy. The bigger move for NAS and S&P still looks like it's the downside. I still think that's not a bad place for a buy as well. I'm not liking the markets lately, no setups, and where there is a setup, quick stop hunt. I mean, yeah, situations like that would happen. There will be times in your trading where everything you touch turns to gold. You're in a really nice winning period, and you take advantage of that as much as possible. And there will be periods where it seems that you can't catch a break. Maybe you're missing setups. Setups are not quite hitting your levels or not quite giving you entry, so you miss out on some moves. Maybe a bit in a losing streak. Maybe a lot of your trades are getting to break even. You're seeing some nice moves and they're coming back and stopping your break even. Break even streaks are a thing as well. So there will be some uncomfortable times in trading. It's not just up, even when you're highly successful, you still go through those periods as well. And the objective is just to ride it out, really. Make sure you're taking good setups, making sure you're managing your risk well, and ride out the storm. Every strategy, every trader will go through those ups and downs. You just got to ride them. Especially if you're in your beginning phase as well, you go through that a lot more because, of course, you'll be a lot more prone to making mistakes and maybe taking trades you could have avoided and stuff like that. So you would do a lot more of that in your beginning stages too. And yeah, the objective is just to ride out the storm, focus on the setup and keep at that. And record your trades as well, because that's going to help you improve faster. But I hear you, Lighton. Okay, USD CAD, USD ZAR, Aussie dollar this time. Okay, we'll have a look. And UJ, no problem. What's up, DS? Welcome to the stream. Long time no speak. Hope you're well. Glad to have you back on the stream. Hope you've been doing good. Would you recommend getting the funding account now in these conditions or a little later when the dust has pretty much settled? Well, I've actually seen some people talk about getting a funding account when they're in a losing streak, because when you're in a losing streak, you're close to getting out of that, and you're going to be in a winning period pretty soon. So the idea is that you start trading a funding account that when you're in a bad period, because you're expecting the good period just to be around the corner, which I think makes sense, but you also have to be mentally pretty intact as well, because potentially the losing period hasn't quite finished yet, and if you're not in a good place mentally, it might cause you to make some more stupid mistakes and prolong that losing period, and of course you might mess up the funded account as well. To be honest, I feel like the best time to buy is whenever you feel confident and you feel ready as well and prepared. If things don't go well initially, maybe you go into a bit of drawdown, you're comfortable and prepared to manage that and get back out of that. If you feel like you're in that position, then yeah, go for it. If you're still a little bit about your ability, then there's no point buying it, because you're just going to put yourself under more pressure, and that will potentially cause further mistakes as well. So if you're not trusting yourself, then I feel like you can just wait a little bit longer. There's no harm in that too. If you trust your ability, then yeah, go for it. Matt, I can't remember last time I tend to trail and accept what the market gives me. Sometimes 0.3 other times it can be a month of trade. Train allows me peace of mind for me. Also, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it as well. I do use trading stops in my trading as well. It depends on the situation of the trade, but if it's a nice trending environment, then I would use trading stops. Like if I was buying the USD pairs right now, if I was buying gold right now, I would definitely be trading some stops there as well. But I do like having some take profit levels as well, because if price hits a big level, I kind of want to pay myself there too. Of course, it can be a situation where I do take profit and then leave the rest of the trail as well. So it's a situation where I'm kind of doing two birds, one stone. But I do like taking profit as well. Essentially because I feel like FX markets, we chop around a lot. So unless the conditions are great, it's difficult for price to really get going. But of course, allowing you to have a peace of mind, that's the most important thing. If you've got that, then you're going to be one step ahead of a lot of people, because a lot of people won't have peace of mind when they're trading. But yeah, sometimes you're going to get a monster trade, sometimes you're going to get 0.3R. You don't know when it's going to come, but the idea that when you're letting your trades run is that you're looking for your winners to outweigh your losers. And of course, having a trading stop means that you're always allowing your winners to run, and of course, having a stop loss means you cut your losses down. So I like the approach as well. Morning, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Glad to have you. Have closed some partial profit in BTC, though I still think it can break 88k today. I mean, that's a good way to tackle it as well. As you said, you weren't too sure about price breaking through, closing some profits early on. Can be a nice way to kind of ease the nerves while still being in the game to potentially capitalize on the breakout. And if it doesn't break 88k today, if it does reverse for whatever reason, you still, worst case scenario, walking away with a bit of profit as well, which is not a bad idea. That's true, Ben. You have to adapt to current conditions. These conditions can be around until the end of the year, and then once they've gone, the conditions change to something else. That's also not ideal. That's true as well. Always just waiting for the perfect condition. You'll be sat on the sidelines for a very long period of time. That's true as well. Market conditions are Yeah, market conditions are such a thing that people don't talk about enough. I could talk all day about market conditions because it plays such a vital role in terms of whether a pattern is likely to play out or not. Because you can take very simple trading techniques, move in average crossovers, and you can make that to be pretty profitable just by operating in the correct conditions and being a bit more conservative when conditions are not in your favor as well. And that's where the beauty of having multiple strategies as well, because if you have multiple strategies to different conditions, it allows you to kind of be a bit flexible. Okay, things are a bit choppy, a bit more volatile, well, I'm going to use this. Or things are very trendy, okay, I'm going to use this. Or things are in a consolidation, well, I want to use this to pick the highs and lows. That allows you to be a bit more flexible. Of course, I would say that's something to add to your game later. You don't want to be looking to learn 3 or 4 strategies all at once. One can be difficult enough, so I would say that's something later to do, but market conditions do play a huge role. Anyway, I'll go take a look at some of the USD pairs for Lighten. Of course, any requests, drop it in the chat. Oh, dollar CAD has flown through that. I was talking about some shorts on the 5-minute chart, but I guess we did not see that at all. I mean, there wasn't much of a rejection anyway. But yeah, dollar CAD, I'm still pretty bearish on this one. The setup I'm interested in is all the way up here at 1.405. I'm hoping to see a pullback into that area kind of before looking to short some more. I'm looking at the higher time frames. We've had a massive rejection from that weekly zone. We've of course seen a lot of momentum in the past couple of weeks. I do think dollar CAD is likely to continue lower. And I've mapped out this zone here. Nice brief consolidation, huge move to the upside. I feel like price is likely to be drawn towards that area. So I do still see dollar CAD falling. I'm still very bearish on the USD itself. So I still see dollar falling too. But first things first, we need a pullback. The market's being very bearish here. Not as bearish as some of the other USD pairs, but it's had its fun. So a pullback would be nice. I'm not going to be shorting at these prices here. And something like that would definitely entice me and probably allow me to capitalize on a nice swing, at least back into support, back into the swing low, wherever that forms. If the market pulls back from here, well, that would be a nice target for the trade. So yeah, dollar CAD, I do like the idea of shorts. Just need a decent pullback, to be honest. In terms of the price action down here, it just looks very tired. We're seeing a very corrective move, so I do think dollar CAD's going to hit a bottom pretty soon, as with the other USD pairs, and start to pull back. I'm not really so interested with the buys. I'm a big fan of the sells. Okay, so we'll take a look at USD ZAR next, and we'll go through Aussie dollar and dollar yen as well. So USD ZAR sluggishly rolling over. I did say some buys might be looking good here last week, but I haven't really seen much of a rejection there. Looks like we're just slowly bleeding through that level. We never got the pull back into this zone, but I still do like the buys here, to be honest, with USD ZAR. But again, I'll play it a little bit on the short term, based on how we're moving, because we've had such a powerful move to the upside. But the way we're kind of just slowly bleeding to the downside doesn't really give me much confidence that this is a pullback for price just to happily be on its way and continue back to highs. I feel like that's a little bit unreasonable. So I think buys are still pretty good. We'll quite stretch the downside as well. I mean, as we do approach this area, which we did break through a while back, never had a retest of. So I think that's still a nice place to buy from. But again, I would expect it to be a pullback for us to potentially keep selling off as well. So I'll be cautious of that. But in terms of a target for the trade, well, we could probably be looking at support here. Prior support, now turn resistance. That could be a nice place to target, to be honest. So yeah, I like the idea of that. But in the meantime, buys do look good as we approach this zone. This is kind of where we consolidate and where we rip to the upside from. So this is where we've had that initial momentum. So I do think some buyers will be lurking here, and that could give us a nice bounce. But of course, how we react when we get there will make or break the position as well. But yeah, being prepared that maybe USDZR's got a bit more downside to give, so not looking for a push back to the moon, but I feel like we can retrace here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for USDZR. In terms of Aussie dollar, I'm very bullish on this one. Definitely looking for more upside, but at the moment we're trading at some major resistance, so being a bit cautious. We had a strong candle to the upside early morning, then later on we got a bearish candle coming back down, so it does look like price is just essentially struggling at the highs here, and rightly so. We're corrective now. We've been bullish since the low down here without much of a pullback, so I feel like we're in desperate need of one. So hopefully over the next couple of days we can see that pullback come into life. There's a level here at 0.632, which I do like the look of for a long, and also level down here 0.624, which I do like the look of for a long as well. The idea is that Aussie dollar is forming a low here. I do think price is getting ready to reverse and see some upside, but I do need that pullback before I can find some entries. And yeah, those are the zones I'm looking at. And dollar yen as well, trading at some massive support. I think for this one, again, I'm still bearish on it, but I can't be looking to sell at these prices. Massive support running through the level. Yes, the market is bearish. Yen looks like it's still quite strong. It might still have some strength left to give, but I can't be looking to short at these prices. So if anything, if we can start to stall here, maybe consolidate, provide some nice wicks, there might be a nice little buy here. But I need a lot more development before I would start to eye that opportunity up for a trade. But this is now bullish territory, so if anything, a buy makes the most sense, but just be cautious. I wouldn't be looking to rush into anything just yet. Even lower time frames not giving us much of an opportunity to buy, but this is definitely bullish territory, so I would be looking for a long. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with those pairs. And to adapt to changing market conditions is a key skill to master. Yep, 100%. Markets are dynamic; they're always changing. It's why fully mechanical strategies really suffer at times. That's true. That is a good point as well. Yeah, I know gold hit 3.5k this morning. I know it. Crazy stuff from gold. But yeah, that's true. That's why mechanical strategies can be a bit awkward sometimes. Mechanical strategies sound great on paper because it's just like, okay, you know, A plus B plus C equals D, and you know that's your strategy. You just, whenever that forms, you take the trade without any discretion, which is great on paper because it means emotionally, psychologically, trading is just a whole lot easier because you don't have to think necessarily. It's just, you know, are conditions met? Yes, buy. Are conditions met? Yes, sell. But of course, they don't allow flexibility. And I feel like flexibility is such a crucial part of trading. You have to be able to think on the spot and say, okay, because of the context of the market, it makes sense for me to do this. Or because of the context of the market, it makes sense for me not to do this. For example, if you have a stop loss, which is set at like 20 pips, but the markets are very volatile, like we were a couple of weeks back, well, the average range in the market would be a lot bigger, you know, twice as big. So a 20 pip stop loss would be very aggressive during that time. And the odds of you getting wicked out and just getting beaten up in that type of market condition will be high. So at that point in time, you might want to increase it to 30 or 40 pips, and that will give you the correct amount of room to trade. Of course, that's just one example, but it could be a lot more. And again, you don't know necessarily how long it will be before that average true range drops to what you want it to be. It could last a good 6 months at a much volatile. The market could be volatile for the next 6 months, and that means that whole mechanical system for the next 6 months is going to be in a serious trauma. So that's why I always think discretion is such a crucial part of trading. But yeah, gold hitting 3.5k. I think 4k is not even far away. I can't remember who. Someone said banks are expecting 4.5k this year. I was like, okay, that is pretty big, but 4.5k is actually not looking too far away now, which is crazy. Okay, I guess they're like holding floating L's for long before they turn green. People who are trading gold, damn you. Yeah, they're having a lot of fun right now. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the beauty of a trading stop. You know, like an environment for gold, that is where you want to be deploying a trading stop 100%. Anyone who used targets for gold would be kicking themselves hard. And the thing is, maybe your system is built upon having fixed targets, which again, nothing wrong with that. But with your discretion and understanding that, okay, gold is just in a ridiculous uptrend, it's been one for the past, well, since the breakout in Jan 2024, or was it Feb or March? Early 2024. The market's been in a crazy uptrend. So having a fixed target for gold, just didn't really make much sense. Nothing wrong with taking a few of the taking a couple partials here and there, but gold is in that kind of climate where it's just ripping, so you want to just trail and let that thing be. But of course, take that same situation and take it into a pair. For example, like euro yen right now on like the hourly chart. You wouldn't want to be trading in this environment, would you? It wouldn't make sense to trail a stop loss here because every time the market pushes down, it just corrects. Every time it pushes down, it corrects as well. There's no consistency to the price action, at least in terms of direction. It's just incredibly flat. So in this case, a trading stop will get eaten up very easily. Having fixed targets at highs and lows will probably be a much better way to maneuver this price action based on how flat we are. But gold, yeah, gold is not the climate to be having a fixed target. Until proven otherwise, until conditions change with gold, until we flatten out, you want to be trading stops there. The mini crash we're going to get on gold is going to be epic though, -5% a day at some point. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to be honest. Shake everyone out and chop for a bit and then we send again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah, gold is going to have that big correction at some point, isn't it? As every market would do. No market is going to just completely go up and up forever. There isn't a market today that's done that, at least I'm not aware of. Of course, don't get me wrong, there'll be some markets that do have enormous moves to the upside that do last for a while, but at some point they will come crashing down very hard. Look at crypto, indices, commodities, of course, FX, stocks, any market that's rallied over excessively, like gold right now, will come down pretty hard at some point. Just because at some point there's not going to be any buyers left, and we are going to push down. So yeah, gold is going to have a lovely little mini crash as well. Of course, when that happens, we don't know. Price might storm to 4K first before that mini crash happens. So there could still be a load of profit left on the table before it does happen. Or it could happen now. That's the beauty of it. So yeah, difficult to tell. But funny enough, silver is just trucking away to the upside very slowly, well, at least compared to gold anyway. I still like the longs for silver, but price action is looking horrendous right now. So not jumping into any longs in silver just yet. With Trump, volatility is big, wondering if doing because he has no clue or to profit from the market. I mean, Trump is Trump, in it. It's the Trump effect. When he was in the White House last time, the markets were very volatile as well. Trump would just tweet about something, and the markets will move. And then you have yourself scrambling, looking at the economic calendar to see what news released you missed. But no, it was actually Trump who tweeted something. Yes, I will go through my watch list. I've got a few pairs which I'm looking at, so yeah, I'll mark that up now. Gold's outperformed indices of the last 20 years. One of the most underrated assets. Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. I feel like because gold is just a bit boring a little bit. I mean, everyone's looking at the new shiny thing on the block, crypto, maybe a new stock. Gold's just always been here. So I feel like people are a little bit bored of that, to be honest. But it's just doing very well. And of course, specifically since 2024, because don't forget the past 2 years before that, gold was flat. Of course, 2 years before that, it was having a massive rally too. But it was flat for about 2 years, and then eventually we broken out again. So we might have another 2-year flat cycle coming up pretty soon, maybe at the end of 2025. We're trying to buy gold to boost reserves. Like silver from 31.50 if we react. 31.50, 31.50. Okay, it's down there. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at silver as well. A little bit closer, 31. I like that as well for a buy. But again, yeah, of course, if we react to. I feel like silver, again, pretty undervalued too. Of course, the other components at play, why silver's not as bullish as gold, but I do think silver is going to gain value in the long term. I feel like a year from now, silver will be up. So I do want to keep buying this one, but of course, not blindly. Price action needs to look good. It doesn't look great, to be honest, to be honest with you, but once the trend starts to clear out and clean up as well, then yeah, I'll be looking for pullbacks and swinging this one too. What was that? So yeah, in terms of my watch list, I got a few pairs I'm looking at. I like pound CAD shorts. I feel like where we're situated, we could be seeing a lovely lower high form. I just need to see a entry signal. Price is slowing down in this area. We've got one high there, second one there. I'm looking at third one forming here. I need to see some type of bearish engulfing candle, just showing me momentum is back with the bears. Potentially, I'm looking to see if I can swing it back to the low here, but I'm being a bit more cautious with this trade because I understand I am definitely counter trend here. The trend is very much with the buyers, but I'm looking to see if potentially we are going to form a bit of a top because I'm expecting pound CAD to not necessarily reverse, but just have a much bigger retracement. We've taken out some major highs here on the left, and we've been bullish since 2022 September. So I do think pound CAD is in need of some retracement. So that's kind of why I like the sells from a more macro standpoint. But based on the price action, we've come back to a nice area of confluence into the trend line here. We've pulled back into the 0.786 of the fib if I map it out. So as you can see there as well. And just generally coming into a nice area of supply where the market consolidated not long ago. We saw a nice meaty move to the downside. Now we're back there again. So if I can see a sufficient enough rejection, that would be my entry trigger. And I'll see what we can do. Initially though, just looking to see if we can get pushed back into this zone here. As I can see, that's definitely where some buying pressures enter the market recently. So that might be an area where I might need to close the trade early if things are not going my way. But if momentum looks good, we pick up. Perhaps we head to the lows there, and that would be a lovely trade for myself. So pound CAD shorts look good. I also like CHF JPY longs as well, which does contradict my yen bias, but I don't mind it because I'm banking on some CHF strength and I'm banking on that this is just a short-term move as well. And again, I'm just looking to see if I can push it back to the high, but to be honest, if price gets back to this area, I'll probably start look to cash out as well. But the idea is that, again, we've pulled back into a nice range here, consolidated for a few days, massive move to the upside. We've been in a pretty consistent trend on the 4-hour time frame for a while, and you've had a relatively corrective pullback as well. So that's a key sign too. The market hasn't just dropped; it's kind of stagnated. It's been slow. Yeah, every time the market does take out a low, it does push up pretty nicely. Push ups pretty nicely. So again, expecting that to happen too. Just need to wait for a good entry. Again, some wicks, bullish engulfing candle, that will do the trick for me. And then I'll be in the position, and then hopefully we can capitalize on a swing back to the high there. I'm just looking at this as a lovely corrective channel, and now I'll see if I can buy the low for a push back up. So Swiss yen longs look good. Like Euro yen shorts, but a lot needs to happen for this one. I need to see at least a bit of a bearish trend here before I do start shorting, because as I said earlier, very much in a range here, just looks awful to trade. So either we start to see a bit of a trend form, then I hop in on a pullback somewhere, or we push back into resistance where I can get stop loss above the highs, then capitalize on the swing. But the idea with Euro yen is that we've got one major high over here, a big drop, second high over there, big drop. I'm looking at this being the third lower high. So again, I'm expecting a pretty big drop back into support and expecting price to break through. So see if we push up first, find some entries, or trend, and I find some entries along the way. I also like Euro NZD longs too. I do think there's still room to the upside for this one. Again, still very much in a comfortable uptrend here. I do think we're going to top out soon, so I'm not looking to try and take this long trade to the moon here. If I can see another push back into lows, I do think there will be a nice buy opportunity. I might even look for a situation where I buy it to then sell it later on. Look for another lower high to take it back down again. We've got one over there, second over there, perhaps a third one forms. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. And same thing, pound NZD too. We've got a nice double top there. I'm looking to see if price can push back into resistance. And that could provide some nice opportunities to take a short as well. And then, of course, I like Aussie dollar longs, and I like, so take some pullbacks there, some buys, and I like NZD USD longs as well. Lovely bullish move, and desperately need a pullback, and then I'm going to continue to buy that. And, of course, dollar CAD shorts as well. So, yeah, quite a few pairs on the watch list, but then quite a few need a lot of pullbacks, which I don't even see happening this week, to be honest. Like, for example, dollar CAD. Even if we do get this week, it'll probably be right at the end of the week, so I probably won't set up till next week anyway. But dollar CAD I like, same with the USD, same with Aussie dollar. It'll probably take a while to actually form. Pound CAD is at my area, so that's something I'm focusing on a bit more immediately. Same thing with Swiss yen as well. So those are the two I'm kind of giving my most attention to right now. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of my watch list. I'm not late to buy gold. To be fair, the thing is, you could ask me that question about a week ago, and I probably said, yeah, you're way too late to buy gold. But gold has gone from like 3,100 to 3,500 in like a week. So who am I to say it's too high to buy gold? You know, we could be trading at 4K this time next week. But yeah, I think in general, removing the hindsight bias, it is a little bit too high to buy gold. I definitely would wait for some type of correction for gold before looking to long it. You know, yes, I'm expecting a correction, but I'm fully aware that I have no idea when it's going to happen. It might be off the back of a news event. It might be just kind of out of nowhere, which gold sometimes does, tends to do quite a lot. So, yeah, it's tricky to maneuver this one. Does understanding market condition. Okay, I'm going to have to remove you. Okay, apologies for that. Does understanding market condition means having knowledge on fundamentals? No, that's a different, I mean, they kind of overlap a little bit, but no. Market conditions is to do more with technicals. Fundamentals is something else, but that also has some type of bearing of market conditions. But market conditions just primarily mean in terms of how volatile the market is, what the market is doing in general, how the market is moving in terms of, are we trending, are we consolidating, is it uptrend, downtrend? Also in terms of the pullbacks, is the market in a very strong trend? Are we seeing, for example, for gold right now, it's a very strong trend. We're not seeing much of a pullback. We're seeing strong moves, very light pullbacks, or even just sideways ranges before we do continue. So the condition of the market right now is very, very bullish, quite volatile, and having minimal pullbacks. That's the idea. So if you have a strategy based around deep pullbacks for gold, we're going to be waiting a minute before that does happen. If you have a strategy that looks at just following momentum, maybe buying breakouts or something, well, this is a good condition for you to trade, and this probably will give you some nice opportunities and some really nice winners as well. So if you're looking at buying breakouts, following momentum, this is the type of condition you'd be looking to deploy that strategy with. If you're looking for ranging markets, well, of course, this is definitely not something you want to be trading because there's a clear trend here. If you go back to gold in, for the whole 2022, 2021, we're a bit more range bound. Well, this is something you're going to enjoy a little bit more and find a lot more opportunities. If you're looking for breakouts here, well, it's something we're going to have to struggle a little bit more with gold. So maybe you scrap trading gold in this environment and go focus on a different market that is providing momentum, that is providing some nice breakout opportunities, because the condition of the market isn't ripe for you. But gold now, yes, it is. So this is where you go to town. So yeah, condition it refers to more just how the market is moving, direction, how it's moving. Is it volatile? Is it very flat? That's really what condition mean. Fundamentals can apply to that, but that's a different ball game altogether. Okay, that'd be bullish for the CAD. Technical lines up with massive shorts on Euro CAD, Pound CAD, USD CAD. Yeah, I do agree with that as well, Antonio. I think from a technical perspective, CAD has been so weak for a while now. I think naturally it deserves a bit of a bounce soon. And looking at Euro CAD, Pound CAD, Dollar CAD, it does look like those trends are topped out. I mean, Dollar CAD's done it for a while, but Pound CAD, Euro CAD especially, I do think they're starting to top out and could be looking at some sells. So I do like Pound CAD based on that perspective that we are a little bit stretched. Trends hit a bit of a top, starting to see some lower highs come in. So if I can see a solid rejection in this area, I will be looking to try and find some entries. At the moment, that's not the case. So sitting on the sidelines, but hopefully you can find some entries shortly. Gold could hit 4K end of the year. I know it could do that. Funny thing is, someone actually said that on stream, right at the start of the year. I think they said they were looking for 4K this year for gold. I was like, that's quite a big statement there. I was like, maybe 3,500 if we have a very bullish year. Maybe 3,500, but it's still mid-April or just past mid-April, and we just hit 3,500. So I was very wrong with that. But again, it was realistic, even gold being bullish enough to go and hit 3,500 by the end of the year. Because at the start of the year, where were we? Where's Jan 2025? So yeah, this is the start of the year. At the start of the year, yeah, it's more or less the start of the year. So this is when I can't remember who it was, when they mentioned about buys on gold to 4K, 4K. I think it said 4K. We're trading around there. So I said 3,500 maybe, and that's a very bullish year. And of course, 3,500 is all the way up there. So that is still a very bullish year for us to get there. But it's April, we've already done that. 4K is not too far away, and it looks like a pretty realistic shout by the end of the year, to be honest now. That's just how bullish gold's been. It's been more bullish than I could have expected. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Every day I learn something new here. That's great to hear, my man. That is great to hear. If you guys are enjoying the stream and learning something new here, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Goals already eclipsed last year's, and it's April. I know, exactly. That's why it's so crazy. If I go take a look at the yearly chart, so the 12-month chart, let me get rid of that line. So you can see that was the whole price action of last year. This candle 2025 is already a lot bigger. You can just see that from the naked eye. It's just a lot bigger than that previous year's. I mean, even from wick to wick, not even just the body, wick to wick, it's already bigger. Of course, it's only April, so that means two things. It means we could still see a lot more upside, or this could end up pulling back and leaving a big wick there as well. So it's an open candle. Got to take that with a pinch of salt. But of course, the clear fact is that we've already outdone last year in terms of the range. You know, whatever happens by the end of the year, even if we pull back all the way and close bearish, the range of this year is already a lot bigger. So the market's very, very volatile. It's already April. We've already done that. So it's been an exceptional year for gold. I mean, in terms of the relative distance gold has done, I mean, that's the biggest candle since the 70s. Of course, you know, every year it's going to be exponentially bigger, but you know, it's the biggest move we've seen. You know, every bullish move seems to be more bullish than the previous one, and that's exactly what's happening here with gold. It's moving like Bitcoin. Damn. So yeah, it's difficult to maneuver this, to be honest. If you're in a trade for gold, you're loving life, especially if you're trading stops, because you just like let this thing go. I probably would be a little bit anxious though, because I would expect a big correction at some point, and it depends how much I'm floating profit and where my trail stop loss is. I might be a little bit anxious because I do expect this to drop pretty hard. I just don't know when. So if my stop loss was trailed like here, it depends where I've entered. If I've entered down here, then I'm loving life anyway. If I've entered like here and my stop loss is trailed here, where I'm leaving quite a lot on the table, and I know gold is more than capable at retracing that distance in a day. So I don't know. I might be a bit more aggressive trading, but then that could potentially get you out the trade earlier. So it's again, you're never going to be perfect where you exit. That's the key thing. You're never going to be perfect. It's just the way you manage the trade. Is it appropriate? If you're trading stops, you leave your stop loss below structure. You know, there's little incorrect that you are doing. Yeah, if gold does drop, well, it's not really in your control. If gold flies some more, great, we can continue trading. But yeah, very impressive stuff from gold. And I'm just looking to see if silver can join the party, but that one is not doing that just yet. I feel like if we get a truce between Russia and Ukraine, gold will collapse. That's true as well. Provide a bit of stability there. That could be an excuse. I feel like gold is looking for that excuse to drop. Something like that could be the catalyst for that. Afonso, Fort Knox holds 8,000 tons, China 2,000 tons, but China secretly buying 4 times more than reporting doing. Okay, doing it to back brick transaction and challenge USD. Okay, reports say China might have 15,000. Damn, that is insane. Wow, that is interesting. Well, I mean, it's clear that gold is definitely still highly valued here. I mean, with China buying so much, they're doing that with the expectation that gold is going to provide that stability. So I think gold is just always going to be a good bet to park your money in. Of course, it's going to go through cycles of bullish and bearish, but as a whole, especially with fiat currency not having its value pegged to pegged to gold, I feel like gold is just always going to be a great place to park your money. Of course, if you're looking for returns, I don't think it's the best. Of course, saying that, we're absolutely flying right now. But I just think in terms of just security, gold is such a great place to park some money. Yeah, I'm going through the rest of the week. I feel like I'm just going to keep a close eye on pound CAD and CHF today anyway. Those are the two markets which interest me the most and more or less at my areas to take some trades. I'll keep an eye on the yen pairs because I still like sales with them, more so euro yen, but this one's still a long way away from giving me an entry. It looks like it's picking up some momentum right now. But yeah, still a long way to go before I actually look to place a trade there. How's pound yen doing? Yeah, slowly rolling over there too. So it looks like yen's picking up, but nothing there. And then with the USD pairs too, I feel like USD needs to find some strength pretty soon. This one's been plummeting. It does need to find a bit of, find some upside a little bit, even if it is just to retest that level. But yeah, I'm still very bullish on Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, bearish on dollar CAD. So I like those opportunities. Dollar CAD pullbacks looks really good to me. Just got to be patient in terms of the pullbacks. Right now, that is not the time to be looking to buy at all. So we'll wait and see how that gets going. And then, of course, ends the USD as well. I like the buys here too. Euro and pound, I did like. Pound, the USD I like coming into the week, but it's already hit my target for the week yesterday on the bank holiday, funny enough. So I've just removed pound USD from my watch list. Because where did we open? We opened for the week around here, I think. No, over here. Yeah, this was Monday's candle. So we opened here. The target for the week was just to push back to highs, keeping it relatively simple. I was looking for a pullback first initially, hoping that we can push back to some areas to buy from and then hold for the week into resistance and probably take profits there. But Monday just opened up and smashed straight into resistance. So not much I could have done there. So not really interested in pound USD anymore. Euro is just a little bit too high for me to get interested about this one. I like Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar because they're coming from some lows. Of course, they've been pretty bullish too, but they're coming from some lows. And there's still room to the upside for us to move into. Euro is not really doing that anymore. Now it's at some highs, and I'm not interested in the big buys anymore. So yeah, being patient with USD pairs, but I'm definitely still eager to short the dollar, but need some retracement first. No problem at Lighton, happy to help. But yeah, guys, I will be live again tomorrow. Excuse me. I will be live again tomorrow, as always. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. Savvy, okay, I will take a look at pound USD for you. So make sure you do go and hit the bell before you guys do leave, so you are alerted when the stream does go live, so you don't miss out on anything. And of course, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button too if you have enjoyed the stream as well. But yeah, as I said, for pound USD, I mean, if anything, sales actually look good where we're currently trading. I'm not really looking to sell pound USD just yet, but it depends what you're looking for. If you're on the lower time frames, I think buys still look good, but I would wait for us to retrace at least back to this level here, 1.328. I think that's a nice place for a buy. You can see we kind of stalled there, consolidated a little bit, broke to the upside with a lot of momentum. Naturally, if you can have a corrective pullback into that zone, I think that's a nice place for a buy. more so probably in the hourly 15-minute chart. And again, I wouldn't look to hold the trade for too long because we've already had a massive move. So the idea is that we're just taking advantage of the momentum, taking a small piece of the pie and running away. Of course, however you want to manage that, do what you think is best. But because of the market being pretty stretched, I wouldn't be looking for another big move because pound USD's already done that. But yeah, I think this is still a nice place for a buy, so I would keep an eye on that for pound. Of course, if you're looking to operate in these areas, I would only be looking to short because we've just hit some massive levels to the left there. But if we can pull back, I think that's a nice place for a buy. Sold pound USD this morning for a quick 25 pip scalp. Nice. Yeah, I think that's the best play because market stretch, hitting big resistance, we're likely to snap to the downside. But again, not looking at anything too crazy. 25 pips, I think is pretty reasonable considering that there is still a lot of bullish momentum. So not trying to overstay your welcome. But yeah, guys, anyway, we have come to the end of the stream. So I do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, chatting with myself, and engaging with the stream. I do really appreciate that, guys. And if you have enjoyed it, drop a like on your way out. Like I said, I will be live again tomorrow. I'm live every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi. Check out the Discord, link in the description to that. Chat with other traders, chat with myself. Share ideas if you're looking to get involved or see what other people are looking at. Check it out there. You can find updates there regarding elevating traders as well. So if you are interested, head over, check it out. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. And I'll catch you all in the next one.